Well, the argument's been made, and it was made particularly by NOMA, the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association, that they were in favor of the Energy East pipeline because they said it was a safer way to transport oil than railways. And NOMA represents a lot of communities, smaller communities in the north, and most of us have major rail lines running right through the center of town. So this is a logical concern. Those tanker cars are very threatening looking. But we argue against the idea that shipping by rail will decrease if we approve Energy East pipeline. Because we know that most of what is being shipped by rail is the fracked oil, or shale oil as the industry would have us call it, from southern Saskatchewan and northern North Dakota. It's all oil that has been produced. It's a very dirty oil to produce, but it's a very volatile oil, highly explosive, produces toxic gases in the air, and the oil is full of nasty chemicals as well. And that is largely what is shipped by rail. And the reason for that is that it's where the fracking wells are, there isn't easy access to pipelines. And rail works really well for them because fracking wells move all the time. They don't produce for very long. So they're always moving their drill rigs around. And railways can respond to that. They can build spurs relatively cheaply and easily into where the fracking wells are. So rail is a perfect fit for them. Bitumen is not a perfect fit for railways because it's really heavy. It's very hard to ship in rail cars. They either have to have heated rail cars, of which there are very few in Canada, or they have to dilute the bitumen with all kinds of very toxic light hydrocarbons. The chief component of the diluent that they put in is benzene, which is a known carcinogen. And if there were a spill, and if there were water involved in that, the bitumen will largely sink to the bottom, but the benzene will mix with the water and flow wherever that water is going. So the benzene could very easily end up in the water supply, even a water supply many, many miles from the original source of the spill. So, we're very concerned about that, but we just don't think that the argument that if we allow the pipeline to go through, that the rail shipping is going to diminish. There's no evidence that that is going to be the case. The fossil fuel companies are so desperate to get this oil out to market. They know that this is a dying industry. They know that investors are seeing that they are better to put their money elsewhere. So the fossil fuel companies are desperate to get this product to market, and they will ship it however they can to get it to market, and that will be by pipeline if they can get one approved, and by rail wherever that works for them. Well, we have to be worried about the fish, we have to be worried about the animals, and in the case of the diluent, we have to be worried about the people who are dependent on that water supply. If there were a spill that went into the Dog River, for example, the Dog River goes into Dog Lake, comes across the Dog Lake, goes down through a series of rivers, ends up in the Kaministiquia River, which ends up in Lake Superior, from which Thunder Bay draws its drinking water. And water treatment plants have no way to remove those kinds of it's a solvent, basically. They have no way to remove that from the water, so even the most advanced water treatment plants, and of which Thunder Bay is fortunate to have one, can't get rid of that benzene, so it will be in our drinking water, and it will travel all the way. It'll travel wherever the water goes, and there's no known way of getting rid of it once it's in the water supply.